Hi everyone, my name is Lila and I work at Montefiore. We help care for and support older members of our community. Some of you may have been here to visit your grandparents or great-grandparents, and some of you may have come with your school or preschool for Jewish holidays or Shabbat. Today, we are going to teach you a little bit about dementia. Dementia is where some parts of the brain don't work as well as it used to. It can change the way people think, feel, act, and talk. Many people at Montefiore live with dementia. Maybe some of your older family members or friends in your community also live with dementia. You can't usually tell if someone has dementia because you can't see it. They see life a little bit different to you. For people living with dementia, it really is so important that they still have fun. At Montefiore, we have social events where people can chat and connect with their friends and families, and we also run programs such as gardening, music classes, art classes, card games, and even some fun activities similar to your sport lessons, which keeps their bodies stay fit and healthy. Today we are so excited to have author Sally Yule and illustrator Cheryl Orsini with us. They are going to read Sally's new book, Dancing with Memories, and then answer some of your questions. We hope it helps you better understand a little bit more about dementia and how it might feel for people living with it and how we can help them to stay happy and healthy. Please enjoy the session, and we can't wait to welcome you back to Montefiore. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sally Yule, and I'm the author of Dancing with Memories.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Orsini, and I'm the illustrator of Dancing with Memories.
And we're really delighted to be here with you today.
Dancing with Memories. I am Lucy, and I dance with memories. Sometimes I remember, sometimes I forget. Sometimes I remember that I forget. Sometimes I forget that I remember. My home is full of memories, black and white and full of colour. I lose them and find them and lose them. Dancing with memories helps me remember. I remember that today is special. My granddaughter is getting married. I remember she loves me, and I smile. Phoebe and Tom's wedding. 4 p.m. today, we'll pick you up at 2:30. Remember, you are doing the reading. My daughter has left a note. She thinks I'll forget. She wants to pick me up, but I'll get to the wedding myself. My doctor says I have dementia. I wish I didn't, but I do. Your brain has changed, she says, but you are still Lucy. She knows I have a brain and a heart. My brain is foggy, but my heart burns bright. I can't do everything I used to. I can't say everything I want to. But my family and friends look out for me like the twinkling stars watch over the earth. I walk and pray and write. I laugh and watch and sing. I listen and cry and garden. When I remember, I eat blueberries and vegetables, every colour of the rainbow. I live beside a park. Reuben and Reggie are my park friends. Reggie is a Kelpie with dreamy eyes. He always remembers. It's the day of the wedding. Getting ready takes longer now. The clock says there is plenty of time. I put the note in my handbag because I remember I forget. I walk out the door into the sunshine. I wave to Nellie, my nutty neighbour. I feel as free as a magpie. Down the street, through the park, around the corner and past the cafe, across the road to the bus stop, I wave and smile at everyone. Oh my goodness, I forgot my pass. I'm going to my granddaughter's wedding and I need to be there by 4 o'clock. The driver waves me onto the bus. Houses and shops float by. Nothing looks familiar. Excuse me, driver, can you tell me the way to my granddaughter's wedding? But the driver is busy. I get off the bus and look around. I try to look confident, but I feel bewildered. I don't know which way to go, but I keep walking. I'm tired and thirsty. My heart sinks. I think really hard. I mustn't miss the wedding. My head hurts. I wonder if my daughter is worried. Maybe she will call the police. I remember my note. An hour to get to the wedding. A tear rolls down my cheek. I look for my phone. I remember. I have forgotten it. I'm pretty sure I'm lost. More strange shops, more strange houses. I must get to my granddaughter's wedding. I cross the road and get a wonderful surprise. Reuben and Reggie are sitting outside the cafe. I remember them and they remember me. I'm on my way to my granddaughter's wedding, but Reuben smiles and gives me a glass of water. First, we'll show you the way home. Around the corner, through the park, up the street to my house. I am so happy, I do a little dance. Reuben and Reggie can't stop smiling. Nellie, my nutty neighbour, gives me a humongous hug. My daughter jumps for joy. Everyone is here. My heart is full. I am Lucy, and I dance with memories. Sometimes I remember, sometimes I forget. I live with dementia. I wish I didn't, but I do. My brain has changed, but I am still Lucy. Thank goodness I have a brain and a heart. And I did dance at my granddaughter's wedding.
Dancing with Memories is a children's picture book about dementia and living with dementia. Lucy is a lady who's probably in her 70s or 80s, and she lives with dementia. This book is about how you can still be involved in people's lives. If you have someone in your life who's got dementia, a grandma or a grandpa or a family friend or a neighbour, you can still be involved in their life in really meaningful ways that help them feel like they belong. Because sometimes when you live with dementia, you feel like you're on the edge, you're marginalised. And we, as their friends and family, have a really important role to play in helping them understand that they're still valued and they still belong. And that's what this book is about. This book is a reminder that we all have a role to play, that you, as children, have a really important role to play in the lives of the people you love with dementia. That's what it's about.
The first question that we've been asked a lot is this based on a true story, and who inspired you to write this story? Now, as Sally is the author of this book, I think she is the best person to answer this question.
Thanks, Cheryl. Well, it's actually based on a lot of true stories, because I've been working for many years with people who live with dementia in my professional work. But when my own mum and dad got dementia, that's when I really thought about writing this story. So it is based a lot around their experience of living with dementia and our experience of supporting them. So I guess there's quite a lot of truth in it, and it's been inspired by both of them. The character of Lucy is really inspired by my mum, Wendy, and there's a lot of Wendy in Lucy, but it's based on friends, parents, and people I've worked with as well. So yeah, I guess you could say it's based on a true story. Cheryl, I love the way the illustrations have come together in Dancing with Memories. I love the way you've brought Lucy, the character of Lucy, to life. A lot of the kids have asked questions about how you went about deciding what Lucy might look like, and what you were thinking when you used different colours in different parts of the book.
That's a great question, and thank you for asking that, Sally, and the kids. Lucy was born from a conversation that Sally and I had together, you and I, when we first met, which was over the phone. And Sally described her mother, and I made some notes on that as I went. And I also had a grandmother who was 105 when she passed away. So a lot of the images that come to mind when I thought of Lucy were my grandmother, but also the descriptions that Sally had provided me over the phone. And I just started to draw her. She just seemed to pop out on the page on her own. So sometimes characters come to you like that. They are born from conversation and they're born from the people that we know. This was the first drawing that I made of Lucy. I showed her to Sally, I showed it to you, Sally, and you liked her. You responded to her, and she just jumped up onto the page. We were very lucky. Colours, for the colours, my grandmother was very proud of her hair, and my grandmother always had her hair set beautifully, quite often in lovely soft shades of blues and pinks in there. And she would always dress. Actually, this is something that Nana was a part of our family wardrobe. I have a lot of Nana's clothes still. So Nana wore a scarf, which Lucy wears in the drawings. Nana always wore brooches and earrings. So yeah, that's how the colours for her outfit came. And blue, I always find such a soft, gentle colour for a book cover. It's really beautiful.
In Dancing with Memories, Maggie Beer and Professor Ralph tell us that to keep our brains healthy, you should eat a diverse diet with lots of fruit, vegetables, and fish. I like to keep my brain healthy by painting. I'm going to show you how I paint now.
Cheryl, one of the questions that's been asked by a number of kids is, what is dementia?
It's a really good question, and I am not the best person to answer it. However, Professor Ralph, who is here at the back of the book, has answered it beautifully in his Q&A, which you'll find toward the end of the story. And he's written it in language that we can all understand. So I'll read it out for you. Dementia is a group of medical conditions. Dementia affects a person's thinking and their memories. It also changes how they behave and whether they can do everyday tasks. People with dementia gradually lose their ability to look after themselves. They need others to care for them. There are many types of dementia, and Alzheimer's disease is the most common type. Was this book made to entertain, inform, or persuade? I think that's a good one for you, Sally.
That's a really good question. And so I guess, Cheryl, in some ways a little bit of each of those, but the most important thing I wanted to do was to inspire kids. Inspire kids to know that they've got a role to play when they know someone who has dementia, that it's not something to be frightened of. There are some scary things about it, but it's something which they can play a really important role in with people in their family, people in their community, that they can help those people feel like they belong, know that they belong, that they can continue to treat them with dignity and with love and with respect, and that there is beauty and dignity in Lucy, even though she's got dementia, even though she forgets, even though she has mood swings, even though there are really tricky things happening, there's real dignity and beauty in her. And each of us in the community, children included. In fact, children in particular, because you have special relationships with your grandparent or with your lovely, next door neighbour, if Lucy's your next door neighbour. There is a really important role to play. And I wanted you, when I wrote this book, I had my own family in mind, the children in my own family, as I watched them come to terms with my mum and dad having dementia. And I saw the grandchildren working out, what does that mean for me? How do I continue to relate lovingly to my grandparents? I wanted to write something that helped every kid understand whatever your situation is, you've got a really important role to play. You don't have to shy away. You don't have to think, my goodness, it's not my nana anymore. You can continue to be engaged, continue to love. In fact, your nana needs you even more than she needed you when she was a whole lot healthier and more able. And so it really is aiming to inspire you and to give you hope and to give you some tools to know how you might do that and work that out, because it'll be different for all of you.
Sally, is there a cure for dementia?
As, again, Professor Ralph says in his Q&A, there's not a cure yet for dementia. There are a lot of scientists around the world looking for a cure because so many people are living with dementia. But they haven't found a cure and they haven't found a drug that stops or slows dementia down yet. But I'm encouraged that they're working so hard. People like Professor Ralph are working really hard to try and find a cure.
What does it feel like to have dementia?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Cheryl. And, you and I, we don't have dementia. We don't live with dementia. So it's hard for us to know personally what it feels like. But when you sit down and listen to people you love who live with dementia and you work with people who need support because they have dementia, you get a little bit of insight into what it might feel like. And I think there's a really big range of emotions. I think there's a sense of loss and a sense of confusion. People feel, I know my mum feels confused most days. She can't think as clearly, and so she feels frustrated. She feels grief that all the things she used to be able to do, she can't do anymore. She feels annoyed that she can't communicate as well as she used to be able to communicate. So she's gone from being a very able person to being a person who can't do what she wants to do and say what she wants to say. But she's still mum, and Lucy is still Lucy. But I think the range of emotions that a person living with dementia feels is pretty big, and has lots of ups and downs on any given day, and also through the trajectory of the disease. And so I think it's important to know that it's not just sad feelings that a person with dementia has, but they also experience joy and they also experience hope, glimpses of it, which are really important. And they experience love. They know love. And so in the story, Lucy remembers that it's her granddaughter's wedding the next day, and she remembers that her granddaughter loves her, and she smiles. So often when you come to see someone and visit someone who has dementia, they forget a lot of things that have happened very recently, but they don't forget the feeling. The feeling stays with them much longer. So if you are kind, so Reuben, for example, giving Lucy a glass of water after she's been lost, Lucy might forget that Reuben's done that, but Lucy feels better in herself. She feels safer and calmer, and she feels like she matters. She feels like she's important still, that she's got something to offer and that she's not invisible. And so, yes, there are feelings of frustration and sadness, but there are also feelings of joy and hope, and there's definitely feeling. So Lucy has a heart as well as a brain, and that's really important.
Thanks, Sally, for your time today. Thanks to all of you for joining us virtually. I'll pass over to Sally to say her goodbyes.
Thanks, Cheryl. And thank you all for the interest you've shown in Dancing with Memories. Thanks for the time you're spending in school or at home, schooling at home, reading it and thinking about it. Thank you for all your questions. We're just so delighted to connect with you. And I hope that this enables you. Reading Dancing with Memories really helps you understand the very important role you've got to play in getting alongside and supporting people in your life who live with dementia. Your role is so important, and there's hope and there's agency in what you're able to do. And that's going to make a huge difference to the people you love, the people in your life who live with dementia. So thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.